Hi and welcome back. This is part 2 of our personal top 10 Disney dining tips. We begin with tip number 6. Be ready for the "Have you dined with us before?" question. Oftentimes at a signature or full-service restaurant, you'll be asked if this is your first time dining at the restaurant. We used to think this was a casual question designed to make conversation on the way to the table. But we began to realize that our response to that question could have different results depending on the restaurant. So for instance, a specialized menu of small bites designed to be shared at the table would certainly need to be explained to someone who had never been there before. Whereas having dined before at one of the signature restaurants may cue the staff to treat you with an extra little VIP touch. In contrast, the Magic Kingdom Skipper Canteen, which is the Jungle Cruise equivalent of a restaurant, admitting it's your first time can result in a lot more banter and Jungle Cruise style humor, which isn't for everyone. So if that's not your cup of jungle juice, you may just want to represent yourselves as seasoned sailors. This next tip may seem obvious, but many people overlook it. And that's tip number 7. Know what your Disney dining plan or annual passport covers before you get to the restaurant. We have seen it happen too many times where one person manages to hold up an entire counter service line, squabbling over what they thought should be covered by their dining plan instead of what is actually covered by their dining plan. Now, granted, our idea of a snack does not always coincide with what Disney defines as a snack, but still, a quick online check before getting in line would go a long way towards a more efficient counter service experience for everyone. However, here's a tip if you don't have any special dining discounts and plan on having a quick service meal, and that's that you can now use the My Disney Experience app to make your meal selections at any time, like while in line for Peter Pan, without having to go to the restaurant. You just tap the "I'm here" button when you arrive. You'll be notified via the app when your order is ready and bypass the entire food queue altogether. Also worth noting, if you have an annual passport, is to always check before you make a reservation that your passport will be accepted. We have learned the hard way that some restaurants will limit passport discounts to only a lunch hour or will not honor passports at all during select blackout dates. Don't just assume, check first. Otherwise, your check may be bigger than you expect. This next tip will help you get around reservations and long counter service lines altogether if you're staying at a Disney Resort hotel. Tip number 8, create your own room service with the hotel's quickie food options. When you just want to take off your shoes and your sweaty park clothes and chill after a full day of park hopping, having a DIY meal in your room can be just the ticket. Disney Resort hotels offer a pretty wide variety of take-and-go food options, both hot and cold, and at half the cost of room service. Items like salads and sandwiches, pizza and pasta, rotisserie chicken and gourmet burgers, and of course dessert, are almost always available on hotel property. And don't forget some fresh juice and a couple of lemon and lime wedges to use as mixers for your own custom bartending if you happen to bring a little something hard from home or you picked up a little something special in the gift shop. When we've stayed at the Contemporary, we could enjoy our exquisite park view with a chilled salad, a gourmet sandwich or hot meal, and a really yummy fresh-made dessert. And then we'd watch the Magic Kingdom fireworks show from our balcony for a perfect stay-at-home evening. If your Disney stay is longer than a day or 3, staying in one night just adds to that home away from home feeling at Disney. So yes, being resourceful is a big plus when it comes to Disney dining, which brings us to tip number 9. Make your snack break a romantic snack break. For us, it's a pretty recent revelation that snacks and beverages can be enjoyed at any counter service restaurant without having to make a purchase there. which means that all of those really charming counter service places that you either never get to eat at because they're so crowded, or you're just lucky to get any table you can, come late afternoon when a snack break is pretty much a requisite for getting that second win, you can pretty much enjoy any counter service restaurant and sit anywhere you like. One of our favorite snack spots is the terrace seating at Flo's V8 Cafe in DCA's Cars Land. We can just look out at the picturesque Cadillac range while watching the Radiator Racers speed by. Or the Red Rose Tavern in Disneyland's Fantasyland, which has so many enticing little nooks to just have a really romantic break. You can have a snack virtually anywhere at a Disney park. Why not make it a romantic one? Tip number 10 is for all you wine lovers who just need a little guidance. Don't just take the menu's wine recommendation. Ask an expert. A really nice recent addition to the menus at Disney's higher-end restaurants, both in the park and on resort property, is recommended wine pairings for each entree. On the one hand, this is really helpful for those of us who want wine with our meal, but aren't necessarily confident in making the right selection. On the other, there's likely even a better choice if you just ask. Often your server can hook you up with something even more special or more suited to your taste, particularly if there have been some recent additions to the restaurant's wine selection. And here's a tip. Your indecision can go a long way, as in, oh, can't quite decide between this or that. Your server will be more than happy to bring you a couple of tastings so that you can make a more informed decision. Also, if you're up for a bit of a splurge, like a more expensive wine by the glass or a bottle for the table, don't be afraid to request a consult with the restaurant's wine expert, known as the sommelier. He or she will want to know what you plan on pairing it with and ask you about your particular taste before bringing a couple of samples for you to determine the best fit for your dining experience. So if you want to impress your date or just want to make your dining experience feel that much more special, ask for the sommelier. Say it with me, sommelier. All right, that brings us to the end of our personal top 10 Disney dining tips. But since you've made it all this way, we're throwing in one special bonus tip for free, and that is Disney will always accommodate guests with food allergies and diet restrictions. In recent years, Disney has really stepped up in making their menus more accessible and appealing for people with food intolerances. From counter service and snack carts to bars and lounges, diet-friendly food and drink options have become readily accessible. If you don't see these options on a menu, just ask a cast member or your server when you're first seated. The kitchen or chef is always prepared to make appropriate substitutions or discuss alternatives, because at Disney, no one goes hungry. So that does it for real, and we hope that you found these tips as helpful as we have in our own lives. If you have others, please share them so that we can continue to build on our successes and make our Disney dining experiences the best, the happiest, and the most romantic that they can be. In the meantime, do come visit us at DisneyFor2.com or visit us on our Disney for Two Facebook page. We would love to see you there. Cheers!